Testing 1, 2, 3. There it goes right there. Hope y'all can hear me now. Oh, willing, you guys are doing good. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's all good. Like gazillion people waiting for me. It's all good, fam. What do we got today, huh? As you can see, I'm making some changes, family. I'm making some changes. I am trying to understand what would be the best way to. God, here we go. What would be the best way to provide these classes on a daily basis and have a name for them? So I came up with a title. Call it a daily, the daily dose. The daily dose muchos. Man. Let's see. I don't think anybody's on. Is anybody on? I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I can't tell. It says nobody's on. And yeah, nobody's saying shalom. So I don't know. YouTube always tricks me, man. Their trickery. I got an important class for you today. I am going to show you a little bit of a timeline. I'm gonna kind of like piece it out for us. I'm gonna use a couple books, just like their initial, arrival. The heathens of Europe. Probably 1492 to maybe 1520, around that time. I'll show you a couple things regarding how they looked upon us, and then we'll kind of end it with the plague part. Again, it's a matter of perspective. Some people may say, "I don't think that's important. I got to show you timeline." You know what, man? Honestly, I need to know who we are based on the Bible, because I remember when I asked my mom, "Mom, how come I don't see Mexicans in the Bible? Does he not know us?" I was like, "Does he not know us? Of course he knows us. He knows all, right? So it's our job to seek." So again, the daily dose, part 2. I'm going to name it as in part 1, 2, 3, 4. And then every Friday, Lord willing, if I can stick to this routine, I will have a class. So, like, for example, we're going to be on part 2 of part 4 this Friday. But every day you'll see a daily dose, and you'll see the number part 3, 4, 5, 6. So, we're in part 8. And you won't see part 9. You know what I'm saying? So, anyhow, I think I don't explain all that. Anyhow, all right, look, check it out, fam. I got this to show you. Let me see. Anybody saying anything? Nah, man, nobody's saying anything. You guys are quiet today. All right, it's all good. Pay attention to this. Oh, wait, hold up. Before I do that, let me not forget. Man, I almost forgot. I forgot it the last 2 times. You know that?
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material in use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Okay, so now I should not be in trouble. Last time I didn't even say it, and you know what? YouTube didn't say nothing. But again, they're going to be that they're not
This video is
well really mindful about
Hey, you can't be using my picture, buddy.
Anyways, all right, check it out, fam. Here's what I got for you. Watch what this guy says. Watch what he says, and I'm kind of surprised by it, to be honest with you. Let's see. Where's the Can we make this into like? No, we can't, huh? All right, let's listen in. I'll be quiet now. Hold on. Let me shoot.
for educational purposes, and man, do I hope it educates some people. So we're going to talk about land back and reparations. I believe that we should give land back to the indigenous peoples of this country, even in accordance with their land back initiative, and probably give the entire continent back to them. I also believe that people who have a family history where they were kidnapped from their homeland and brought here in chains to be enslaved to people who have this complexion deserve reparations for the suffering they have had historically and because of the systems of oppression that still exist today. Now, I can almost hear you saying, well, that couldn't work, blah, 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 blah. It would be too much of a pain in the butt and blah, 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 okay? And to that I want to say, if you think it would be inconvenient to give your land back to the indigenous people and to pay reparations to the families whose ancestry was enslaved and continues to suffer at the hands of institutional racism in this country, imagine how inconvenient it was to experience that stuff, to actually have your land forcibly stolen from you, to imagine, having yourself kidnapped from your friends, your family, your homeland, dragged across an ocean and put to work for people who would whip you at the slightest provocation or just unalive you. So yeah, I do think that we should do those things. Would it suck for me? Yeah, but right now I'm the beneficiary of all those horrible things that happened historically and continue to happen today, as is everybody else in this country who looks like this in complexion, and I'm not comfortable with that. So I am absolutely behind the idea of land back and reparations. I'm very curious to know what other people have to say. If you're going to just drop hate-mongering comments, go somewhere else. But if you have something, to discuss about the subject, please feel free to, sound off in the comments. But
Hey, family, I'll tell you this right now. That's kind of weird, but somewhat refreshing, to be honest with you. Do I believe it? No, I don't believe it unless it actually does manifest, quite frankly, man. You can't trust these people. I don't care what you say, bro, unless I actually see it. Because you don't want to know something, family? And we're all very mindful about this. We got a particular type of nation of people. The very private interpreters, the ones that carry a dose of a hypocritical nation with a dose of victimization hood. You know what I'm saying? Like those kind. Yeah, they say that this is their country. Yeah, they say that. Look, I was listening to this dude, and he's not for that. He's for Africa, Pan-Africanism. He's for his people. You know what I mean? You can't disrespect anyone like that. It's basically for his people. Anyone can account. Hey, in case y'all listening, well, actually, I'll tell you later. That's all good. Yeah, y'all can communicate on that. Give me a second. It's downloading. It's a short video, but here we see a so-called white man saying that, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm all for reparations for the natives. Yeah, of course. If anything, I mean, come on, let's be real, man. Who does not belong in this continent? I'm sorry, you white folks and black folks. He's like you said, in my complexion, but you forgot black people too. They need to go back. All right. Not the ones that are our people, though. The reason I say that is because, the natives, our people, we're probably the most willing and giving out of all the nations of the world. But then again, when push comes to shove, then it's just like, yo, that's enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? So let me show you guys something real quick. Watch this. So this is what the other party says.
Is now saying, no, y'all need to come to the street and march for me. Help me. Because now the white man has done what we always knew he was capable of doing all along. That makes a lot of sense. But Dr. Amos Wilson destroyed these dudes off rip. And he didn't have to do it in no grandiose. He didn't do no grandstanding. He just said the truth. He said, oh, you think you about to assimilate now. And if you look at movements like FBA, right? Think about it. That's what they're saying. Foundational Black America. This is America. This is our country. Our country. Our country. It is our country. It is our country. It is our country. They're not saying nothing more than, yo, we're going to be able to assimilate into this country peacefully.
Fam, you guys hear that? That they believe this is their country. The FBA. The For Black Association. I don't care what they mean. I don't care what they say, man. You guys really? Like, at least this guy has some sense. I'm like, yo, man, Pan-Africanist, bro. What you talking about? This ain't your land. Get the hell out of here with that, man. Even the white man understands that. And he, I would assume, would not have your spirit, right? No, but not. Y'all are acting like them now. I wonder who's who. So let's go through a little bit of timeline and remind people that we do We do deserve reparations, but we don't want reparations. We want it all back. And we want y'all out of here. But we know that it's not going to be that way. It'll be a different way. And all because of the Most High, our Creator, our Father, said so. But before I go there, and more likely I'm not going to go there because it's not about that right now. It's not about destruction. Yeah, the white man's going to get it. No, I don't care about that. Y'all going to get it. It's about edifying our people, man. It's to bring out these men, these kings out of these prison holes. And I don't mean like prison always. I'm talking about like, the mentality. Proverbs 29:18. Here it goes right here. Watch this real quick. It reads, where there's no vision, people perish. Where there is no vision, people perish. Hey, shalom, Mexican. Shalom, Isai. Shalom, Julio, man. I apologize. You know how I get, man. I just kind of jump in and woo, just get in a car and run. I was always like that since I was a kid, man. Ever since I was born, ever since they'll tell me, go get something. I was in Mexico. I was born over there. Like, hey, and they used to call me Chicharo, man. They're like, hey, Chicharo, go get me some tortillas. I'm obviously speak Spanish. Hey, Chicharo, ve por unas tortillas. 5, 6 years old, and I'm like, I run back. So it's the same thing, fam. I get in class and it's like, I hit the rubber hits the road, bro. Let's go. Anyways, remember this, fam. Remember this. Where there's no vision, the people perish. You know how important that is? You guys realize that that's also part of the curse? Where there's no vision, people perish. See, the Most High said that was going to be an actual punishment. Deuteronomy chapter 28:29, it says, and thou shalt grope at noonday as a blind gropeth in darkness. Where there's no vision, people perish. And thou shalt grope at noonday, no vision, as the blind gropeth in darkness, you perish. And thou shalt not prosper in thy way. Why? Because you got no vision, you got no future. You cannot see who you are because you don't know where you've been, because you have no idea what occurred to you. Again, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. So again, without a vision, people perish. Hold on a second. How hard is that to understand? It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, fam. Let's go back. Proverbs 29. Let's absorb this real quick. Proverbs 29:18. It says, where there is no vision. So, like, what exactly is needed with you when you visualize something? You put it in your mind, and that whole concept of like, things, thoughts become things. They get it off the Bible, family. It's all esoteric and self-love, because that esoteric concept is basically saying that you are the creator, not the Most High. It's like, I think of it, so I think of it, I manifest it. No giving honor to the Most High at all. You are your own God. That's where it comes from. But that's that whole as above, so below. Y'all got to really understand what that cold crap means. You have to really understand that. So again, where there is no vision, if you don't have a future, if you cannot see the path, if you cannot see the road ahead, if you cannot close your eyes and still see the road ahead, where there's no vision, people perish. And if all you see is a black image where there's no vision, people perish, because that black image is going to blind you. If that's all you see, a white image where there's no vision, people perish, because that blinds you. And that's why the Most High said, listen, I'm going to curse your butt. Deuteronomy 28:29. And thou shalt grope at noonday as a blind gropeth in darkness. Again, where there's no vision, people perish. Do you realize that whatever you see on a constant basis, if you really believe that, that is your quote, what they call paradigm or perspective or perspectiva, tu vida? Where there's no vision, donde no hay visión. Let's read it in Spanish. Let's see what that's like. Sin profecía, el pueblo será disipado. Muchas gracias, mami. My daughter brought me coffee. Sin profecía, el pueblo será
Disipado. Look, profecía, prophecy. You see what I'm saying? Without a vision, without prophecy, without understanding what we're going, what's been and what's occurred, who was here before, who was Habakkuk 1:8. Oh, it's the white man. No, it's not. Again, sin profecía, el pueblo se disipado. I'm sorry, será disipado. So let's go back to the English one. Again, without a vision, people perish. So while you're perishing, while you have no vision, while you're a stumbling block to your own self, you're a stumbling block to everybody else. Deuteronomy 28:29. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. Why? Because when you're walking without a vision, you're also blind. The blind leadeth the blind. You got children and you're raising them to be just like you, blind and dumb. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Well, what exactly happens? Why? Because you're blind. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you've been. You don't realize that, hey, 1492 really freaking matters, man. It's not just a number, guys. Hey, it's like you go to these camps like, hey, 1492, you know what I mean? No, you realize you guys got to understand that spirit that happened then happened today. That you guys, more likely, who are you here today? It happened to you then. And thou shalt grope. You're like, oh, trying to hang on, man. Like hanging on. You know what I mean? Like, thou shalt grope at noon. It's daylight, man. Noon is like the brightest time in the sun. You know what I mean? At its peak. As the blind gropeth in darkness, because you guys have no direction, no vision. You don't know where you're from. You ignore. As a matter of fact, you know how many people I asked, hey, you know what happened in 1492? No sé. ¿A poco no sabes? You know what I mean? That's so condescending, right? We have that tendency to do that. But again, if you don't know what your past is, you're going to be always blind. Why do you think there's so many killings? Why do you think we destroy our people? Why do you think we're out of order? Because we have no vision. We have no unity. We can't imagine being together as a nation. We think, nah, there's no way. Look at us. We're killing each other, cartel, we're in jail. But again, if you don't have a vision, you'll be blind like the afternoon. That's an oxymoron. Meaning you'll be blinded by the light. That's something else. As the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Meaning the way that you make decisions and how you go about dealing with your family, you're not going to prosper. Neither will they, because you're going to be leading the blind. I mean, you're the blind leading the blind. And thou shalt only be oppressed, which means your seed as well, spoiled evermore. That's what it means. Thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore. You think like, oh, it's just me. No, it's your family. If I'm lost in the sauce and I'm trying to raise my kids, and I think I'm actually raising them properly, guess what? I'm spoiling them as well. And no man shall save thee. You know what that means? Think about that for a moment. No man shall save thee. Vamos a leerlo en español, ¿eh? Vamos a leerlo en español. Let's see here. Dice, y palparás al mediodía como palpa el ciego en la obscuridad. Y no serás prosperado en tus caminos, y nunca serás sino oprimido y robado todos los días, y no habrá quien te salve. See what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to help you. Nobody going to give you understanding. No Christian church, no black church, no black Jesus or white Jesus or green, purple, yellow, whatever. It doesn't matter, fam. It is all vanity. My beloved brother, are you still here? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? East Side, there you go, bro. That's from the beloved brother East Side provided us here this Isaiah 44:9. Los formadores de imágenes de talla, todos ellos son vanidad. Let me get it to you in English. I want y'all to really, really absorb this, family. This is, again, bilingual channel. You know what I mean? So you can have your families come over. They got to know these things. Come on. They that make a graven image, Isaiah 44:9, are all them vanity. What does vanity mean? How does vanity affect the mind? Let's see.
How does vanity affect the mind?
Let me be simple. Let me be simple right now. See, look, nowadays, all of you guys like, I don't know how to do this, man. Dude, there's Google. Google it, right? I don't know how to fix it. YouTube. How does vanity
affect the mind. Watch this. What the mindset. Let me do a little short one here. Watch this. What does it mean? I don't like that one. Was how gaslighting manipulation. Oh, watch this. Watch this. Gaslighting. I don't think I want to do that. How born. Organized peace. Hey, that's a good subject to check out. All right, let's do this one. I think this might make. Let me see. Let's listen to it.
Tell you what Paul told the Roman church. Look what he says. Be honest in your estimate of yourselves, measuring your value by how much faith God has given you. In other words, measure yourself by faith in God.
I do that to you. Oh, I guess it's much more complicated than I thought, huh? I guess you can't YouTube everything. Sure as hell don't want an explanation from somebody saying, hey, what's vanity? Okay, let's read it again. And they are their own witnesses. Why? That they make a graven image. I'm sorry, they that make a graven image are all of them vanity. Let me skip all of this. And then it says, and they are their own witnesses. That's why it's vain. You see, people want to see their own image in a God. All this time, God spent the I guess you could say, like, there's a little saying, like, what was that? God spent time trying to create man, and then now man is spending time trying to create God to his image, to his folly. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They see not, nor know, that they may be ashamed. They see not, fam. They see not. You see what I mean? Like, without a vision, people perish. It's all here. Watch this real quick. I'm only going to show you guys about 5 minutes.
This is Mel Gibson making a case for here.
Look, this is about the whole esclavitud. All right, we're going to send it. We're going to listen to it for a little bit, and then I'm going to show y'all some scriptures real quick, some books, and then we're going to call it a quick night. All right. And I'm going to give you guys a quick timeline. All right. So right now we understand about the Spaniards coming. We understand now, without a vision, we will perish, without knowing that this happened to us. Right? We're going to continue living in assimilation. Like, hey, well, you know, I want to be like white man. Ay, es que, pues el güerito, no, tiene ojitos azules. You know, tuviera bien, güey. Así no la migra me agarra. Let's check it out.
Before liberation, and yet you do very interesting work. So I want to get to the Mexican slavery piece, because I don't think in North America we think of slavery.
Hey, hey, Julia, I shouldn't have told y'all, man. All right, well, I guess now you know. All right, let's go.
Beyond much about what we did or what happened in the islands before liberation, and yet there's a sadness to the story in Mexico that's just as profound as ours.
Oh yeah, well, you know, there's a curious difference between the two slaveries, that the two systems of slavery. The Spaniards, when Cortez conquered Mexico, they had a very hip attitude toward slavery, that they didn't buy slaves from Africa or anything. They would just enslave the native population. They even did that in Europe when they conquered a European country. And so when they conquered Mexico, there were over 30 million in
Family, did you guys catch that? He said that the Spaniards conquered the European country. So, as you can see, we're seeing some division, right? I thought it was all one nation. No. You see, the deeper we dig, the more clarity we see. You know, they say that the detail is the devil is in the detail or something like that. I always say this. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know if I made it up or not. I might have heard it. I don't think I'm that smart, but I always say this: you got to see the minute detail. How is it? You got to understand the minute detail to see the bigger picture. I always say that. You got to understand the minute detail to see the bigger picture. So I pay attention to like the words. Then again, you got to. It's scriptural, okay? Out of the treasures of a man's mind, something like that. I can't remember. I don't want to chop it up. Let's go.
Indigenous people living in Mexico, and through a lot of them, they killed a lot of the Spaniards killed a lot of them inadvertently through the diseases, smallpox, measles,
Right.
whatever. But they also in 1565, the Spaniards had a silver strike called El Rufo, and they discovered almost overnight that Mexico was one gigantic mountain of silver. And as soon as they discovered that, the days were numbered for the native population, and they just enslaved them. They had no rights. They just enslaved them promiscuously into the silver mines, the gold mines, and the different haciendas, and worked them to death in the fields.
Hey, you see that? Work y'all to death in the fields. Man. Oh, well, that's painful. Let's go to Obadiah. Let's get a timeline going. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 4. Chapter 3, it says, the pride of thy heart had deceived thee. Thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, not necessarily the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, say the Lord. So you see here, their interest in wanting to conquer again. It says Edom. We know Edom has been having wars with Canaan. And we know that Canaan subjugated Edom. So here we see the pride. That's when you start seeing the northerners, right? The Caucasians, the Edomites. They start subduing the Africans, the Moors, all of them. Conquering back all of the territories, especially at the end of. I'm telling you, fam, the key is Granada. That's Granada. The key is Granada. So now the pride of thy heart had deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? I believe Malachi 1 gives me a little more clarity. It's Malachi 1. I haven't read that in a while. Let's see. There it goes. Malachi 1:2, it says, verse 1, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. The Lord's love for Israel says, I have loved you, say the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, say the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. This is why Edom says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places, thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw them down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, the people whom the Lord has indignation forever. So you see here now the interest of Edom. Psalms 83. When you see the actual relationship between the North and the South, the Europeans and the Africans, they come to the agreement, man, that, the Africans lost. A battle. That's what kings do. You know what I mean? They talk about it, laughter, like, listen, man, I think I'm gonna lose. We're gonna lose. All right, well, here you go. Give us some time to leave. So together, guess what? Psalms 83, a song of Psalms of Asaph. Keep thou silent, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. In 1492, fam, they have said, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Why? Because the Phoenicians knew of this island. I have showed y'all in classes before. You guys need to get the book called The Jew Negro. And then Diodorus Siculus actually explains that they knew of these islands. And they reserved it just in case something would happen at the last end. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off. Who? Us. Let us cut them off from being a nation. In the name of Israel, be no more in remembrance. You want to know why I know this, fam? Because if Edom or so-called white man and the so-called black man, if y'all were so great, why didn't you do this in Europe or in Africa? Why did you have to come here? Again, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. You know who they're saying is Israel except us? Everybody excluding us. You see all the curses, and you got dumbass Fopies, dumb Curdy Iron, dumb IUICs, and then dumb GMS and Sakar. No, not GMS. ISBK, I think. Whichever one of you camps push that Paprika, the Paprika guy, the goofy dude with the big jaw and long arms, the goofy guy. You married a plastic woman. That's your king. They have said, you. Who's that? The tabernacles of Edom. They have said, who? The tabernacles of Edom, verse 6. And the Ishmaelites of Moab and Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Who in the world is in America? All of these nations, for God's sakes, fam. You need to start getting in your book and repenting sincerely, because that is how you're going to strengthen your spirit in order to combat these damn heathens. They think that you Hispanics are just a walkover, a walk in a park, simpletons, silly doves. Not on my watch. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Against who? Against us. This is from a book called The Broken Spear. Let's continue the timeline. We got about 43 minutes. I'll try to clean it up in an hour. We're at page 30 and 31, I believe. No, that's not it. Broken Spear. Here it goes. Page 30. No, sorry, page 31. The other one's 32. It says, when the sacrifice was finished, the messengers reported to the king that they told him how they had made the journey and what they had seen and what food the strangers ate. Moctezuma was astonished and terrified by their report. And the description of the strangers' food astonished him above all else. Remember, keep in mind, now the Most High sent these guys here. Okay? They are subjugating Hispaniola. They're getting ready to come over here. Now we're like, this is the end. Once the Aztecs went down, that was it, man. So now Moctezuma's hearing a rumor. And he was astonished and terrified by the report. And the description of the stranger's food astonished him above all else. He was also terrified to learn how the cannons roared, how its noise surround, how it caused one to faint and grow death. It says, the messenger told him, a thing like a ball of stone comes out of their entrails. It comes out shooting sparks and raining fires. The smoke that comes out with it has a pestilent odor like that of a rotten mud. This odor penetrates even to the brain and causes the great discomfort. If the cannon is aimed against a mountain, the mountain splits and cracks open. If it's aimed against a tree, it shatters the tree into splinters. This is the most unnatural sight, as if the tree had exploded from within. The messenger also said, their trappings and arms are all made of iron. They dress in iron, whereof iron casque on their heads. Their swords are iron. Their bows are iron. Their shields are iron. Their spears are iron. No, we had an idiot here last time, like,
Hey, yeah, you guys didn't have iron. How do you know it's iron?
the rumor. Hello, we have heard a rumor. This was like spies, right? Oh God, their deer carry them on their backs whenever they wish to go. These ears, our Lord, are as tall as the roof. I'm gonna skip this real quick and look at what Moctezuma. He's astonished, and it says their dogs are enormous, the flat ears long, dangling tongues. The color of their eyes is a burning yellow. Lo, their flanks are long and narrow. They are tireless and very powerful. They hound here and there, panting with their tongues hanging out, and they are spotted like a ocelot. When Moctezuma heard this report, he was filled with terror. Listen to this. When Moctezuma heard this report, he was filled with terror. This is a king. This is a king. Do you know what that means? He's never experienced terror. It was as if his heart had fainted, as if it had shriveled. It was as if he were conquered by despair. Damn. This is prophetic. Without a vision, people perish. Without prophecy, people perish. Jeremiah 6:17, and it reads, also, I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. I'm telling you, family, but you guys don't believe me? Okay, let's continue. Therefore, hear, ye nations, and know. O congregation, what is among them? Hear, O death, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon these people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not hearkened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it. To what purpose cometh there to me incense from Sheba, and the sweet cane from a far country? Your burnt offerings are not acceptable, nor your sacrifice is sweet unto me. You see that, fam? We were going off for sure. Therefore, thus say the Lord, I will lay stumbling blocks before these people, and the fathers and the sons together shall fall upon them. The neighbors and his friends shall perish. This is the report that Moctezuma was hearing. Thus say the Lord, behold, a people cometh from the north. A great nation shall be raised from the sides of the earth, meaning from where the sun rises. They shall lay hold on bow and spears. They are cruel, have no mercy. Their voice roareth like the sea. Remember? In horses, when the cannons, they ride upon horses. That's why it says they roared like the sea and they ride upon horses. That sound. Set in array as men for war against thee, O daughter of Zion. You see this? This is Moctezuma's spy. Comes forward and tells him, here's the prophecy. It says, we have heard the fame thereof. Our hands waxed feeble. Anguish has taken hold of us, and pain as a woman in travail. Go not forth into the field, nor walk by the way, for the sword of the enemy and fear is on every side. As if it were in his heart had fainted, as if it had shriveled. It was as if he were conquered by despair. He was filled with terror. Filled with terror, family. This is crazy. Watch.
And within about less than 100 years from that moment, they had reduced the indigenous population from over 30 million down to less than 1 million, and they were in the process of going extinct. And the Catholic Church, which had been relatively cruel in their attitude toward colonization, they actually intervened. And they said, these people that, we may not think much of them, but they've got souls to be saved for Jesus. Therefore, there was no penalty for killing Indians. And they said,
you see, there was no penalty for killing us.
Kill Indians for no reason at all anymore. And you cannot work them to death in your fields and your mines. So the
So as you can see, family, they talk about particulars like how we were diminishing, right? I mean, they were working us, man. They were working us hard, even to this very day. Let's go back to that book real quick. I'm gonna show y'all something, and then I'm gonna show you, I think, a couple more scriptures, and we're done. All right, I'm gonna try to finish it in an hour. I got 10 more minutes, so let me do this quick. Broken Spirit, page 92. I think I'm here. No, that's not it. Give me a second. Oh, here it goes right here. Page 92. It says here, let's see, Tenochtitlan after the departure of Cortez. When the Spaniards left Tenochtitlan, the Aztecs thought they had departed for good and would never return. Therefore, they prepared and decorated a temple of their gods, weeping it clean and throwing out all the dirt and wreckage. Then the 8th month arrived, and the Aztecs celebrated it as always. They adorned the impersonators of the gods, all those who played the part of gods in ceremonies, decking them with necklaces and turquoise masks and dressing them in sacred clothing. This clothing was made of quetzal feathers, eagle feathers, yellow parrot feathers. The finery of the gods was the care of the great princes. Then it says, while the Spaniards were in Tlaxcala, a great plague broke out here in Tenochtitlan. It began to spread during the 13th month and lasted 7 days, striking everywhere. Oh, hold on. Everywhere the city and killing a vast number of people. Sore erupted on our faces, our breasts, our bellies. We were covered with agonizing sores from head to foot. The illness was so dreadful that no one could walk or move. The sick were so utterly helpless that they could only lie on their beds like corpses, unable to move their limbs, even their heads. You guys ever had chicken pox? You can't walk on that, fam. Imagine that. You can't eat, and your mom, your kid, your parents can't. Everybody's sick. They're dying. They could not lie face down or roll from one side to the other. If they did move their bodies, they screamed with pain. Great many died from this plague, and many others died of hunger. Yeah, I can take a picture of this page. And it's all scriptural. See, there's no other nation that can say this, fam. No, I'm sorry, black man. You can't say that either. Especially the white guy. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse, where are you? And look, 22. And the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, meaning a consuming illness, and with a fever, and with inflammation. Isn't that chicken pox or smallpox? And with extreme burning. Like, didn't they say every time you move, like, it hurts? And with the sword, and with blasting like the cannons, and with mildew. It didn't say it smelled like mildew, rotten food. You're so hungry, you're going to eat like actual penicillin and it kills you. And they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Remember the part where I read? Chopping them up in pieces, and everybody's running left and right. I read that to y'all yesterday. Watch this. Verse 27, the Lord shall smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scabs, and with the itch whereof thou cannot be healed. Deuteronomy 38:35, the Lord shall smite thee in the knees, and in the legs, and with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. Didn't they say that they couldn't walk? I'm telling you, family, you are the people of the Bible. You are definitely the people of the Bible. Man, let me finish it off, fam. Remember, we got to be mindful. This is a daily dose. Remember that, all right? Just daily dose, daily dose. We're going to keep doing these. 2 Corinthians 11:4 says this. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom he have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or a gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him. Here's one of those examples. 1 Corinthians 15:48. This is the trickery, fam, of these black converts. It says, as is earthy, such are they also that are earthy. And as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly. And as we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. What? So I mean, oh, okay, cool. So I'm gonna look into like a heavenly. You mean like I'm gonna look like it says here, and it says we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Now, this I say, brethren, the flesh, meaning you, beaner, Mexican, short, fat, not tall, brown, straight hair, not nappy. The flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. So the only way you can inherit the kingdom of God, Mr. Paisa, neither does corruption inherit corruption. Like how you look right now, you're corrupt because you mixed the seed. Okay? You're not incorrupt because you're not fully black. No, I'm telling you, the teacher this. Behold, I show you a mystery. This is a mystery, fam. Watch it. Which ye shall not believe. Remember Habakkuk 1:5? And we shall not all asleep, but we shall all be changed. Changed into what, fam? Remember the other scripture? Verse 48? No, I'm sorry, verse 49. And as we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Of who? Of Jesus, the black one. How? Philippians 3:21. Who shall change our vile body that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body? Whose body? Christ. And they say Christ is this man, black. Revelation 1:14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace. Well, listen, Ak, if you believe in God, if you believe in the Messiah, well, first of all, you got to believe that he is black. Here, you can hear from the horse's mouth themselves. I saved it because it's important to prove people when they're liars and they're full of folly and they can't even make up their minds. One guy's teaching one thing, another guy's teaching another. Watch.
Meternos con los líderes espirituales de la comunidad para traer resultado positivo a nuestra gente.
Pues sencillamente nosotros creemos conforme a las escrituras que recibiremos el Espíritu Santo.
Jesucristo es de Jesucristo es de Jesucristo es de Jesucristo es de Santo,
Espíritu Santo.
Jesucristo es de
Hey, you hear the guy. That's right. Well, guess why? Because he's a black dude. And I like the dude. He was cool, man. But I'm sorry, bro. Unless you understand where we're coming from, you're not our people. Because you think that the Most High is black and you're not. That's Canaanite spirit. That's why you're like, that's right. That's right. No, it's not right. Because guess what? Listen to this craftiness.
Santo,
Ya estuvo. Yo tengo que decir que Cristo es negro.
Claro que sí.
Para eso.
Sí.
Sounds like a siren. See? So he says, I have to accept Christ as a black man in order to be saved. And he said, see? That's what they teach him. Anyhow. Man, that's all I got. Look at y'all, man. Y'all ran. Woo. Man, it was like 5 of you, then 4, then just 1. Bro, damn. That's all good, family. It's all good. I'm not worried about it, but it's all good. Anyways, that's all I got for y'all, man. I hope you guys could had an edifying class. Lord willing, it all makes sense to y'all. Again, these are all basically daily doses. All right. Anyhow, again, I don't know who's here. Probably all y'all left, man. But good night. Shalom. Peace and blessings to my family. Hey. Cubile chicharo, right? Anyways, family. Y'all take care, man. Mad love for you. And hopefully we can all clean this up. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Reyes, Black Menta, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltóme. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flojo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Eleve mi level con un label y un Faber Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tablet? Juro por mis aguas que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por Pico Sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle tacoplón. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Mental de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, so bloom.
Nero Luis, desde Peña, de la Victoria, para que sepa. Incas Mo, Money Gang, yeah. Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lenny, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles. Y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto. Pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. La super rafina, la doto quizá y metido en latina aprendiendo quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Salí de ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nadie la tenía, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, tiene que respetar. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Salí de ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nada le duele, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, si yo soy tu papá, Cinco Mob, negro, Cinco Mob, nigga, Nero Luis, man, Cinco Mob, it's Money Gang, Hey, yo, Yango en la maldita casa, Me llaman para que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya hinco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirve ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Te espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante porque me lograron saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito para que el mundo conociéramos de esta parte mejor intérprete que ha parido esta cordillera, sin luz afuera. Que el espectáculo es dentro, la calle es mi templo, tiempo pavimento, cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas, la calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro, que toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clon del clon en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón, y para esta pantalla no existe patrón, yo llamo, esa es la cuestión, y doy fue por cada renglón, consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. Brillando la maldita casa, Plaza de Reyes, papá, el Nero Luis, Black Mental, hip hop peruano, rap.